Take a look at this slide. You'll see this in your workbooks, by the way, on page 91. Page 91, how to refresh why you exist. There's 4 parts. You can write this with me in the box. And there are these 4 colors up here. First, you want to refresh your role as a coach. That's what's up here in green. Carl, could you read what you say when you want to refresh your role as a coach in green?
What I'd say to my clients, I say, just to refresh your memory, what my job is or what my role is in your life is just to be a coach. That's simple.
Now remember I told you I'd tell you what's universal and what's unique to Carl? I'm going to suggest this one's universal. How you coach is up to you, but your role as a coach, that's what you're doing.
And I think how that manifests itself is you can say, and this is one of the things you have to ask yourself, how are you communicating what your role is to your clients? You could be a coach, an advocate, a consultant, or whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter what the name is, and I can tell you as we go through this close the sale, how we're going to be closing people and getting them to close themselves is just like how a coach coaches a basketball team.
Yep.
You give the people directions, you help motivate them, and you let them go loose on the field.
And by the way, all the language that's up on this screen right now is also on pages 92 and 93. We'll get to it in a second, but for right now, stay with me on 91. Second piece to refresh why you exist is your hook, which we already created. This is the happiness, success, freedom. Carl, could you read to me or say to me your hook that you'll actually say to clients after you say you're a coach?
I'll back up a little bit. So I'll say, my role, just to refresh your memory, Jason, what my role is to be a coach, and what the goal is to reduce, if not eliminate, financial regret.
Mm-hmm. And that's right up there. And then he says usually 3 things cause it, and this is Carl's value proposition. What are the 3 things?
To not procrastinate. So what we'll talk about today is not procrastinating.
What else?
The second thing is lack of vision, and I put together this nice vision statement for you, which we will show in a slide later.
It's right here.
There it is.
That's the vision statement he actually used with a real client, different names.
And the third is to build a plan. And we base all the recommendations, and we'll spend a majority of our time today walking through a plan.
We're going to get to that vision statement in a moment, so don't worry so much about that. But look up here. I'm going to move over here and show you this. You see the red? It says, my role as a coach is to reduce, if not eliminate, financial regret. 3 things cause it: procrastination, your vision, lack of plan. But everything in blue is number 3 in your box. Blue is the end result. He's communicating to the client right up front, in refreshing why he exists, the end result that he's going to give this client. So far, we have 3 things. He's a coach, the hook, which is the why, which is happiness, success, and freedom, and then the end result. And lastly, in purple, it's the unique ability. There's a great book. Somebody came up to me at break about 2 hours ago and said, how do I figure out my unique ability? They literally said these 2 words. By the way, there's a book called Unique Ability. It's a great book. You should check it out. And it helps you figure out what you're good at and love. I call this a crux, the thing you're good at and love. When they come together, that's what you're passionate about. That's your mission. We'll talk about this tomorrow, the inner glow. But here's the thing. Carl's unique ability is
To lead you to the promised land.
He's a leader. I'm not a leader. I'm a responder. Catherine's a responder. Matt Heckman's a responder. But Chris and Carl are natural-born leaders. And they lead. His job is to lead you to the promised land. That's what he says. What's yours? What's yours? You got to figure out 4 things. And there's an activity to help you do this in the your turns, but for right now, you got to figure out these 4 things. How is your role of a coach? What does it look like? What's your hook? What's your end result? And what's your unique ability? Carl, could we quick model this before Chris comes up?
Absolutely.
Here, let's actually imagine you just brought the water back again so they can see what we did last time, and then we'll pull this in as well. So you're coming back with the water.
Yep. All right. So Jason, anything changed since the last time we talked?
Nope.
Okay. And then did you get a chance to talk with Jess at all about the work we've done together?
I did, yep.
And any questions arise at all?
She had a few, but we can cover them in a little bit.
Okay. And I know last time we talked, you said saving money is important to you. Is saving money still important to you?
It is.
And taking care of risk still important to you?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, just to refresh your memory on why I exist, what my role is for you and Jess is just to be a coach. And what the goal is to reduce, if not eliminate, financial regret. And usually 3 things cause financial regret. Procrastination is one of them. So we'll talk about not procrastinating today. The second thing is lack of vision. And what you'll see here is a lovely vision statement. And the third thing is just lack of a plan. So we'll spend a majority of our time walking through a plan today. And that's going to let us know what recommendations and stuff that you should do. And just to let you know what my job and the end result is just to lead you guys to the promised land. Sound good?
Did you notice he said sound good? What's he doing there? We're going to get into this later, but what do you think that does? He's giving me a chance to what? He's inviting me to walk away again. Every time he does those questions where I could say no, he's inviting me to walk away. And Carl, what does that do for me as a client?
You're the one in control.
Puts me in control, and why is that good?
Because if you're in control, then and I'm just going to walk you down a logical path that leads to cognitive competence, aligning your goals, your values with what you actually do. For you to say no, you have to betray not me, not whatever institution you're working for, not the products. You have to actually betray yourself.
Have you ever had a client say, I have to think about it? Carl, do you allow a client to say that and leave?
Well, they can say it, but we're going to get to the bottom of what it actually means.
Let's try it.
Okay. So, Jason, recommendation is that you get some life insurance, and you don't have to, but the recommendation is you should. But what are your thoughts?
You know, Carl, I'm just not ready to make a decision yet.
Okay. So, in particular, anything in particular?
You know, I don't really know. I don't know.
So, if I'm listening to you correctly, I mean, is it you need to think about it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, I mean, before we part, because I don't think we're necessarily on the same page. Is there anything in particular with life insurance that you don't want, or anything in particular you need to think about? Is it the type? Is it getting it in general?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the money.
It's like the cost.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: if the life insurance was free, would you want to get it? If it was free?
Probably.
Then are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean probably, or you would want to get it if it was free.
I would.
And if it cost you $1, would you want to get it?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess that for us now, it's just if it was $1, would you have to think about it?
No.
You sure?
Yep.
You sure?
Mhm.
Because it's okay. I mean, so let me ask you this, because you said how much do you have discretionary on a monthly basis?
I think we talked about $50 a month.
It's your total amount that you have discretionary for life insurance, or discretionary like total?
Well, just for life insurance.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Maybe total $1,000, $2,000 a month.
Okay, so you got $1,000 to $2,000 a month, and that's great. And so I mean, what we talked about was $45 on a monthly basis. So I mean, at this point, so how many dollars does it get to be too painful before you're gonna say, "Ouch, I don't want it anymore"? Considering you can save $2,000 a month.
I don't know, somewhere around 50.
Somewhere around 50, and what we were talking about was 45. So my recommendation is to apply for the life insurance that costs $45. But I mean, that's the recommendation? You have to do it. But what are your thoughts?
I think I need to think about it.
Okay. So in what particular do you need to think about?
Whether it's a good idea.
Well, this is a good. Like which part? Us having a relationship, or the life insurance in particular?
The life insurance.
Okay. And so when you say it's a good idea, just out of curiosity, is taking care of your risks important to you?
It is.
Are you sure?
Yes.
And do you know what my job is for you?
What's that?
Is to be your coach.
Okay.
Right? And it's to help hold you accountable. So just out of curiosity, I mean, if you say it is important for you to take care of your risks, I guess this would be even the better question. Do you see this as being a risk? If you pass away, is that a risk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Are you sure? Because it's okay to not see it as a risk, but do you see it as a risk? If you pass away, is that a risk for your family?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. So my recommendation is to apply to see if you can get some life insurance. Costs us $45 on a monthly basis. You don't have to do it, but what are your thoughts?
Now, if I say, and keep in mind, this is on page 179, if I continue to say I need to think about it.
Yep. So then what I would say at this point, because apparently, like, he really maybe does need to think about it. And if I feel like I've gotten the real true objection, which I haven't gotten out of Jason yet, which is why I will continue on, Jason may
By
say
the way,
something.
you're probably thinking, wow, he's really going after Jason here. He's spending a lot of time asking, because he hasn't really found my objection yet.
No. And so one of the things you might say, and so I might say, so Jason, I mean, like, typically when you make any of these decisions, is this something you always have to think about? Is that the case?
Yeah, I do like to take my time to think about things, really make sure I'm making the right decision.
And like, what is it? So is it really just stuff that runs through your head, or you like to go do your research, or what's?
Yeah, I like to run it through my head, just make sure I've thought about it for a little while and it's still the right decision.
Okay. And is there any materials or anything that you're going to use to go find that to make that decision?
I usually do a little research, talk
Okay.
to people.
So just to let you know, there is the wonderful Google out there where you can pretty much find every opinion under the sun. And I also do have some material I can send with you. Would it be helpful if you had that material to review?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. So just to let you know, and how much time do you think you need to make this decision?
I'd say a week.
Okay, a week. And so are you around town next week?
Yeah.
So what we should do is let's put some time on the calendar. And what my recommendation is write down the pros and cons list. So really what it comes down to is you're thinking about this. So when you come back, what I don't want to hear is I don't or I do want to do it. What I actually is going to be really helpful for us to work together is write down like what your questions are. Why is this a fit? Why is it not a fit? And then we'll walk through those together, and then I will ask you the same question again, is whether or not you should get life insurance. Does that sound fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any questions?
No, that sounds good.
Okay.
In the last one.
That was lengthy.
That was.
You were giving me a
It's giving me
runaround
a
on
tough
that
time.
one.
Yep, we got 2 questions here. We're going to need a mic for both. And then we're going to do one more quick objection, and then we're going to head into the last prospecting topic. Yes.
I mean, if it's really going on that long, at any point will you just kind of stop and be like, I really feel like we're not on the same page here, and there's something deeper, there's a deeper level that we're not getting it, and just kind of call him out on the BS and say like, hey, what are you not telling me here? Let's be honest about it.
Well, so I'm getting there. Like, and the thing that's interesting about it is for Jason, did you feel like that was an incredibly long period of time?
Not really.
But for you guys, because bear in mind, we're in a room, you are watching this happen. This is unbearable to watch this actually going on. You're like, this man's in pain. Like, let's make this thing end. Let's put this dog out of its misery. So just to let you know, when you're actually in the meeting, it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
So doesn't feel like very much at all. Now, so usually what will happen is we'll do three go-arounds on the merry-go-round. And at that point, like, it's okay, because I'll say it's okay to research. If you just need, but you have to understand is, some people do need time, and usually they're going to come out and say, like, I just really need time for these discussions. And I say, okay, well, great. Would having some materials help you? And this is the part that was really the key. If I'm going to let somebody go, it says we put time on the calendar to meet up again, and it's going to be face-to-face more often than not. And what I say is I say, write down, so this is what works for me. Write down what questions you have. Because that's the direction, where it just says, write down all those thoughts so we can walk through them together. Because does that say a dictatorship or a partnership? Does that feel like
Partnership.
It's a partnership, right? Because we're going to walk through this stuff together.
And I wanted to spend a little bit more time being challenging this time because I wanted you all to see it. It's tough for Carl. But you notice that it really isn't that tough because Carl knows that my job is to get lost. And he's okay with it. What's really interesting is, did you notice his tone didn't change at all? He never got angry, never got anxious. His tone just stayed the same. So if he can do that with as challenging as I was, you're probably not going to see a client that's that tough to just, well, maybe you will, but the waffling that they do, he just kept coming back to the same questions.